Hi, I'm Will.
I'm Norm.
Welcome to App of the Day. Trying something new today.
Yeah.
What do you have today, Norm?
I have an app called Frames. It's actually an app made by the same company.
You sure it's not pronounced Framaze or
Framaze?
Frems? Frems?
There's no
Frems
apostrophe.
Fresh? Okay.
It's just Frames.
What does Framaze do?
Frams.
Frames.
Framise.
Frames.
Frames.
Frames, it turns out.
It's made by a company called Studio Neat.
Okay.
And it's the same company that made this.
The Glyph and the Cosmonaut.
Yes. So the Glyph is a very simple iPod stand.
Okay.
And I actually like it a lot. It just affixes to the iPhone.
Don't you do it on not the button side usually?
Well, you can do it on any side.
Oh, it'll work on any side. Okay.
And there's a port in the bottom, and you can screw this onto any camera mount.
It's a normal tripod screw mount size. Okay.
Yes, exactly. It's camera mount on the bottom, put on the tripod.
So did they build an app to sell an accessory?
Well, they built an app that you can buy to also sell an accessory that you can buy. But the app is actually quite good. And here's the funny thing, the app doesn't work well with the Glyph.
Really? So
we'll get to that.
Oh,
yeah.
Disappoint.
So
what does Frames do?
It's an app to create stop motion animation on your iPhone, or iPad, obviously, or time lapse. And the time lapse part is the coolest. There are other apps that do the same thing in the App Store, but those are actually like $10. This one's $3, and it's actually one of the better ones I've used.
Explain how this works. Okay.
So the interface is really simple. I launched it and I click plus to create a new video. Okay. And I tap to capture frames. And it has two modes. You have one frame at a time mode. Okay. So in which I can just tap that, it'll capture a frame.
Can you just tap the screen as well, or do you have to hit the button?
Tap is focus on the screen. Or you can set it to my favorite, the time-lapse mode. Now in time-lapse mode, you can set the interval anywhere from 1 second, so it automatically captures 1 frame a second, or 1 frame every 10 minutes. For example, if you want to capture a sunrise
for 10 minutes.
or sunset. How about let's try 1 second, and then you can set how many frames you want it to capture. Anywhere from 10 frames to infinity. So just keep on capturing frames. That's a lot. Let's try it right now. I'm gonna do, I've started it, and there it goes. It's capturing, capturing, capturing. You can move, and it'll tell you how many frames total. All right, that's good enough. That's 7 frames. I'll stop it.
That's 1/3 of a second by my math.
Right. So, well, that depends. Right? So it's capturing 8 frames right now, and the capture settings are pretty good because not only can you adjust the interval, you can also add grid lines.
So you can do your rule of thirds stuff?
You have your grids, and also, more importantly, you can have the onion skin mode. And what that does is slightly overlay the last frame. So if you're doing stop motion and not time lapse, you can, with Lego or something, you can see what the last frame was, make a slight difference, adjust it, and then capture the frame again.
It seems like using the Glyph, which is a little bit floppy sometimes, a little wobbly, would be bad if you're touching the screen to shoot the shutter.
If you use the Glyph by itself, which I did, so the Glyph can stand on its own, but if you attach it to a tripod, then it's pretty sturdy. But by itself, so for example, I had the Glyph set on the bottom. It has this mode where it can basically prop it up.
Yeah.
It actually blocks the start button to capture frames on the iPhone.
I think that the more likely use is that you'll put it on a tripod if you're going to do any kind
of we've actually tested other iPhone tripods. The ones at the full case, the one with the Gorilla.
Yeah, like the one with the GorillaPod?
Yeah, the GorillaPod one. That actually works better because that just goes around the case and it's very sturdy. The Glyph, because you want to leave this plugged in. So I had this, I tested with an airplane mode. And I left it on
an iPhone 4.
On iPhone 4S, and you basically get about 2.5 hours of capturing photos. Continuous every 10 seconds.
So this will do the time lapse as well.
Yes. So for example, in this last video we just captured.
Terrifying.
I captured 8 frames. You can actually, like, this is a really bad frame.
That's the single most unflattering picture I've ever had taken.
Delete just that frame.
Thank you. Oh, good God, man.
And then I can start, a new sequence in the middle of this sequence right here. But I'm gonna show you a different project I did last week.
Oh, this looks like Lego.
And I actually did 2 time lapses. This one is 2,445 frames.
That's a lot of frames.
I've done up to 10,000 frames, and it obviously takes a lot of space.
Will it output like 20 frames a second, 24 frames a second, or can you choose that?
That I think is the coolest part. I can output at up to 120 frames per second, or as slow as 1 frame a second.
I want to see this video.
So I'll show this at the end, but basically...
Does it come with the Benny Hill music?
No, it does not come with any Benny Hill music. So something that's 2,445 frames, I can make this, and it'll give you an estimate for how long. It's about 20 seconds.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That seems like you were working really fast.
You could time-lapse your Lego builds.
Yeah.
really easily.
Now, does it do like interesting stuff? Like, does it have motion sensing and stuff where it only fires the trigger when there's nothing in the scene?
No motion sensing. All it does is automatically capture based on interval for the time-lapse mode. And for the stop motion mode, you have to manually press the button and tap the screen, which is why you need a really sturdy tripod.
Yeah, because you don't want any wobble at all.
Yeah.
So how much is this?
It's $3. And my recommendation, if you use this, definitely put it in airplane mode to make battery last longer. If you're gonna do it outdoors, or if you do it indoors, have it plugged in. The screen will stay on. My iPhone didn't burn out or anything. The app didn't crash. Left it on the entire day. 8,000 frames, 10,000 frames, no problem. So you can do really cool.
How much space?
Well, I'll put the video in 720p, so you'll have an HD video, but it'll take basically about a gig of space once you've captured that many frames.
And is it taking 720p stills, or is it taking high resolution stills?
720p stills.
Okay. It sounds pretty cool. It's frames. It's out right now, right?
Right now, you can get it. I definitely recommend the app. Don't necessarily recommend the Glyph with the app.
For this use.
Yes, but it's definitely a cool app. So check it out.
Well, we'll see you guys later. I'm Will.
I'm Norm.
Bye.
Bye.